then you're sitting here arguing as if that's relevant. And then furthermore, when we've pointed out to you repeatedly that the critique is not relevant, you're just sitting here acting as if we have something to learn from you still. Instead of just quieting down and perhaps learning from the people who are talking about something different.
If Illis came on the panel, Mars, if Illis came on the panel and said, abortion is not permissible throughout any part of the pregnancy because at conception you are ensouled with a rational soul. Because you have this rational soul, you are a person deserving of rights that can be harmed. Would you ask him for empirics to talk about, what a soul is and when the soul comes into the body? And
I'd ask him where he's basing that claim. Yeah,
I'd ask him to justify the fact
he's
that
getting that from any sort of
ask him
that's
for
already
empirics,
a theory model that
ask him for empirical data, studies that have been done to talk about the soul, or would you just take that there is a soul and try to work your argument from there, and maybe ask him why he believes in a soul and some other philosophically inclined questions.
So I'm not allowed to ask follow-up questions on people.
It's stupid to ask for empirical claim or for empirical evidence on a philosophical claim. That's
it's not stupid if it helps her understand.
It's stupid to ask for empirical evidence on a philosophical claim.
It's not a stalemate. It's just if I'm asking you for an analytic argument for something that doesn't involve empirical data, why are you bringing empirical data into the analytical argument if it doesn't change the conclusion of the argument? Now, if you had an empirical fact that had some sort of bearing on the conclusion, right, then that would obviously matter, and that would inform the argument about why the conclusion should be adjusted that way, or perhaps there's something that can change the structure of reason within the argument. But fundamentally, everything you've said right now is just further justification. It doesn't alter the reasoning. So it doesn't fucking matter. And you're just sitting here like you're just freaking out because you don't understand these points. You don't understand philosophy. You're out of your depth and you need to humble yourself.
I just want to point something out to everybody.
You're just an intellectual midwit who just thinks you've been gaslit into thinking you're smart. Like, it's embarrassing.
This is getting old, guys. This is getting
old. This is why the STEM kids need to do more humanities. Like, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did I not say I had a master's in the arts and the sciences? I got two.
Hey, don't diss all.
I don't care. I'm a grad student at one of the best universities in the world.
You're the one seeming like you have an inflated ego.
Guys, let's move on.
Your ego is very inflated.
Like, you're the one that brought up higher education. That never came out of my mouth.
You never said it first.
Look, the point of this debate, the point of this live is a philosophical debate.
It really has, bro. It has.
One of this live is a philosophical debate on abortion. You're coming up here debating science. Now move on.
Yes, let's
what
move
are you
on.
talking about?
Yes.
Let's just let it go, Mars. Let it
I
go.
am letting it go. Don't you worry.
This is stupid. Very stupid.
We should do pro-choice or pro-life and figure out the panel. I think that'd be a great idea.
I don't think
I'm pro-sentience.
Pro-sentience for Courtney. What'd you say? Nide win?
I don't think it should.
I'm pro-choice.
Pro-choice for Nide win. Pro-choice for Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
The Canadian one, you haven't. I've been adding you.
Yeah, I'm like rationally pro-choice. I'd say I have a different view.
Okay.
I'd say subjective pro-choice then. and rational makes more sense.
You want to know what?
Lula, I paid my dues. I'm not.
Basically, being rationally pro-choice is just simply understanding that external circumstances change the ethical understanding of the event, to put it simply. Like, I would say that if you have a lady who's in an impoverished country, let's say Eritrea for this example, subsistence farmer, has 5 kids, plans to get pregnant, has a 6th, all of a sudden drought happens or some conflict, her farm gets destroyed, husband passes away in the conflict or fighting the fire, she has to get a job at a factory, but her feet are swollen, she can't work. Yeah, she should probably have an abortion, and that's rational because it's preserving just the eudaimonia and the teleological direction of the family.
Don't you think that's socioeconomic euthanasia?
I mean, no, I think that's just the consequences of failed political apparatus, right? It's not like it's intentionally happening. It's that's what happens when you don't manage the environment around you. So basically, in that instance, I would say it's rational for her to get that abortion. The same way that if you were like stranded on an island and you had to pick 4 kids to get on a helicopter to save and you had 5 with you, well, you got to make hard choices, right? So when you have pro-life legislation that makes those choices for you, well, given that context, that pro-life legislation would commit it to necessarily being irrational. That's why I'm against the legislation. All right? Simple as that. That's what a well-formulated moral argument looks like. And I don't need to pull in like empirical data and everything about it. It's quite simple. But the skills that I have to develop that are the skills that court is developing right now in these spaces. She's exercising these skills.
And
okay,
and people figure for that.
Okay, but people like me and Dawn and all these other people, we are helping. Like we steer from back, we steer from behind. We don't debate because it wouldn't be fair. Right? So like that.
We
so
dumb
these
myself
spaces,
down in the future.
yeah, these spaces are designed where there's disagreement on purpose, and people take all sides of the debate. You take pro-life views, you take pro-choice views. You practice, you be a lawyer for the other side so that you yourself develop the skills that transfer to all other aspects of your life. It's critical thinking. When you think this thing through, it helps you think everything else through. Okay, so when you're coming up here like trying to make it into an empirical debate about science,
and here we go again.
Right?
That's
the issue. That's why I'm upset.
Well, there was a statement
teachable
that you
moment.
made, Mars, about needing to dumb yourself down, and
That's what
nobody's
you just
asking
said.
you.
You just said
Nobody-
people with higher
hold
education.
on,
We gotta
hold
pull
on.
back.
Nobody's asking you to dumb yourself down. What you're being asked is to engage in the conversation that's happening, or engage with the conversation that is happening.
Okay, I will no longer ask you any follow-up questions about where you're getting your claims, you're citing your sources,
Look.
and your beautiful mind.
You could do that in the context of a debate, but she didn't make a positive claim. She didn't say I'm pro-life, test it.
Right.
She
Or I'm
said
pro-choice,
that like you asked her why she believes in pro-choice, and then you went in and critiqued the view. I think that critique was misinformed and unfair.
What exactly? Can you tell me what exactly my critique was? Because
Well, you're asking her. So when I say to her that whatever the scientific consensus says about sentience, that's what she's committed to. Well, then you can't question her further on the empirical data for sentience. Whatever you find, whenever there's consensus, that's it. Right? Because that's such a small part of her argument. Like it's not the whole argument. There's something bigger there that we need to be focused on. Right? So it's not, what you're
not
critiquing.
allowed to ask any
No,
follow-up
you're
question on
allowed.
any
Look,
small part of
look,
the argument.
You're allowed to ask the question, but you have to know the relevance of the question. You have to know the context of the question. It's like if I walked into a surgery and they were like doing the primary incision,
Yeah,
and I
you'd
walked
be
in and I was like, "Oh my God, you're cutting her open!" It's like, yeah, we know, right? Like it's like that's the type of thing you're doing. It's like, yes, we understand the science is fuzzy. We know that there's different theories of mind. We know all of that. She's not having a debate on what the self is. She's having a debate about abortion as per the background. Right? Now, what sentience is going to be a part of that argument, but that's not the primary focus. Therefore, the internal critique is not well aimed, it's not informed, and it's not relevant.
So, but me asking where she's basing this off of is not me
questioning
critiquing
is
her
fair.
argument.
Look, questioning is fair, and you're allowed to do these things. You're not wrong for doing that. That's fine. Now, the way you do these questions, the methods that you use, the context, how you ask these questions, that's the part that you're not getting right now. Okay, so
Wait, Illis, ask me a question about my position that would be relevant to the position that I've laid out.
do you think
just say
sentience is a material or immaterial process?
A material or an immaterial process?
Yeah.
Okay, in all actuality, I'm agnostic on this, but
Okay,
I'm just going to
so,
say
well,
material
that's-
process.
But that cuts to the heart of it, because where the science is
Yeah,
bifurcated right
I'm
now.
agnostic
Yeah, there's no
between
consensus,
physicalism
right?
and substance dualism.
But there's no the science is bifurcated because there's good reason to believe that the self is immaterial, and there's good reason to believe that it's material.
yeah,
On the immaterial side of
it's
thing,
probably material. I think that it's dependent on brain development.
Well, look, on the immaterial side of things, you'll find arguments for ensoulment. You'll find arguments for whatever. On the material side of things, you'll find physicalist arguments, sentience. But basically, like what I'm saying is, by asking that question, I can then reveal further philosophical commitments.
Yes. Well,
Right,
I lean towards physicalism, so we'll just say that it's a
Okay,
physical.
so you see what I did there, Mars. I'm not like if it was physicalist,
Oh my god!
then I
you saw
can
this
then I start from the top down. I go, okay, physicalism, what's sentience? Then we can go, and then the empirics might inform something there, but the larger structure of the argument, that's not the focus.
Are you ready to move on?
Yeah,
I mean,
And not
I'm just
questioning
yeah, I mean,
me
as
bringing
long
this
as
up.
as long
What
as
are
you
y'all
learn,
chatting
then
about?
that's fine.
Right, because like I
can do
have my
day.
method of getting information so that I can better understand an
So
argument.
you're just
That's me.
disrespecting philosophy. I see.
That's me. But that's not me disrespecting
No, it
philosophy.
is. You're just not rigorous in your analysis. That's all.
You're right. I'm not. I guess I'm just not. I guess I'm a shitty researcher, and I'm good at the top research university in my state.
Yeah, I go to the
With the
top-
counter
I go to the
argument.
15th best university in the world. All right, I don't really care about your state university.
Okay. So are we ready to continue? And you not
You ready
bring
to
this up?
flex? You ready to flex your credentials more because I got more?
Again,
than
you were the first
think you're
one to
academically
bring up
accomplished?
I have a
credentials.
Nobody.
I have a
Mustafa,
question.
Listen,
you're going to
lady.
have a really good and well-informed and incredibly
Her
intellectually
ego's hurt. That's all it is. She
Gabby,
thought she was the
You're
big.
the one that brought that up
Mars,
first. I don't
Mars,
understand why
you
you
thought
can't
you were the
say
smartest
that.
person in the room, and then you got shredded, and now you're hurt about it. And now you're not listening.
Because I asked a follow-up
And
question.
now you're not
do you
listening
realize how
anymore.
dense you sound?
Yeah, remember when I
sounds a
said
lot
in the
like an
surgery?
ego.
Remember if you burst into a surgical theater and you said, "Why are they cutting her?"
You literally already used
reasonable
that
question?
word.
Honest, I have a question.
Is that a reasonable
Tomatoes,
question?
roll the
Somebody else is
tomato.
trying to
Yo,
talk.
can we just move on?
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
This woman's
Mustafa,
ego is
I
10
think
times
that you
too
would
big.
have a really high IQ debate with Mars.
And where did you get your degree, Court?
Can we define what a bop
That
is?
doesn't
I don't know
matter.
the degrees
Can we
matter.
define what a bop is? Because that's why I came in here. It's because the picture.
Ladies, fixate
that's
on-
why I
Wait,
came in
if you came in here to figure out what a bop is, then why did you immediately start asking me for empirics regarding the argument that I laid?
I was
Oh
literally
my
asking you.
God.
For,
She was
I was
weaponizing her
follow-up
degrees. That's why.
information. You're the
Because
one that
shitty
brought up
people
that you have a
weaponize.
degree.
You haven't stopped talking about it.
You're the one
And you want to know why I brought it up?
Look,
You wanna
this
know why
is
I brought it
actually
up?
what I did my
Mars,
dissertation
Mars.
on. You're just very
Mars, I've
confused.
spent a long time in academia, and I know people like you. You're an archetype, right? And people like you get a few credentials, you do a few things, you do some research, and then when you go talk to other people, you belittle them,
Okay,
you
let's
attack
stop.
them, and you make
Somebody
them
do
feel
him
small
so
because you yourself
unnecessary.
feel small on the inside.
But you literally
So
brought it up first.
maybe just humble yourself a bit and remember that this isn't the sociology department or the science department where you get treated with kid gloves. This is the real world.
Oh
Okay.
my god! Like,
All right, so maybe humble yourself a bit. Your degrees don't matter. All right, slow girl?
Then why did you bring up that you have a degree?
Because I knew it would
Forget the
trigger
fact that
you.
called me slow.
And it did. It did trigger you a lot. You're still talking about it.
But you came in here and you said I have a degree.
Yeah,
have a degree
because
in that.
I knew that. Listen, I could hear it in your voice. I know what academics sound like.
Maybe.
And the fact that I said it and you're this upset about it,
Maybe.
prove
I
my
want to ask you a
point.
question.
The
right?
degrees
I wanna
don't
ask you a
matter.
question.
What you say
upset
matters.
that I
There's
have a
something
degree or
inherently
that
wrong
you
with
have
being a
one.
bop.
He's talking to me.
Just
I'm
All right, mate. Can we
academic.
just move on from this?
Yeah,
And
boss.
this
we're not getting
slow
anywhere.
individual is
We're
like,
not getting anywhere.
I'm going to take the
Hold on.
10 things I learned in university and shit on people on the internet. Like, what an idiot.
That's literally what
Poor
you're
Mustafa
doing.
has been off the app now
Dude, that's what I'm
TikTok, since the TikTok ban because he's an idiot and deleted it. Mustafa, you should debate someone.
okay. I have a question.
Joey, how'd
Is
you
there
pull this
something
picture, though?
inherently? Hold on. Is there something inherently wrong with being a bop?
Yes.
No.
What's wrong with it?
I mean, it's like, come on now, you could do better, respectfully.
Have
How
some
are we
sex with
classifying
someone.
I'm
What?
literally asking you, what is wrong with being an HOE? What is wrong with it inherently?
Oh, it's just like, come on now.
What
You
are
could
you saying? That's not an argument. Oh, like, come
Okay,
on.
I can give you
That's not
one.
an argument.
You're more likely
do
to
way
have
much better.
your STI.
Sorry?
And that's inherently wrong because you're more likely to do something.
That's
You're
what
more
I'm trying
likely
to figure out.
to obtain something. I don't understand.
I mean, I feel like emotionally, though, it's not good, too, either, you know?
Yeah,
Why-
correct.
In
You
what way?
you have
In
a
what
higher
way?
likelihood of your marriage falling through, like the higher your body count is. That's also true.
And if you just don't plan to get married or don't want to get married, is it still wrong?
Yeah, I mean, we're placing a lot of value on marriage. And, like, it might not be emotionally good for you, but, like, for somebody else, like, that could fulfill them.
No, I mean, you don't gotta get married and all, but, like, you want to see a different human every day.
Do you think that married couples
What is wrong
don't
with
engage
that?
in these activities together with other
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say,
Yeah,
Court?
they do, but
There's an
that's not
entire
the point.
community built around, sleeping with other people's wives. So I don't really see why any of this matters.
Oh,
either.
that's just because they're not loyal or faithful.
What do you mean?
I wouldn't say that that's the case. I'd say,
Oh, I can get it. I think people get bored and they just have too much free time.
Yeah, people just have way too much time on their hands and decide to do odd things.
It's like once you get married, you should be locked in for life.
What?
But-
Why should you?
What
Why
if
should you
that's
be
not
locked in
what
for
the
life?
couple wants? If the two people who have married each other want to engage in activities outside of their marriage, why does that affect you?
Also, what if
What's the point of being married then? What? Like,
Not so
Yeah,
much.
wait, would you say that
Lifelong
hold on.
emotional
Would-
commitment?
Would being in an open relationship make you a bop? Is that a necessary entailment there?
I mean, if we're placing bopness on sleeping around, like I think has been established.
The moral argument I would give for bopness being bad from the deontic school would be like, you shouldn't be a bop because you're using people as a means to an you're using people as an end in itself, not as, or using them as a means to an end, not as an end in of itself.
What
So
if these
basically,
people
like,
consent?
living in a void.
like if you just sleep with someone for the sake of sleeping with them, that's just like mutual masturbation or something like that. Like, but if you have like a romantic relationship, there's a higher end there that the like sex is directed towards, right?
Well, Illis,
What is the higher end?
what if the
I don't know, love,
consents and the
meaning,
people that
family,
that they're
Why is
sleeping
it
with?
not relevant?
whatever fucking.
Lula's
God,
gonna
look at
unalive
Lula
herself.
right now.
Can we stop
Lula
this?
is not having it. Lula is not trying to hear about the deeper philosophical justifications for why bops are bops.
Yo!
This is not.
No, I'm trying to figure out. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
man,
figure
makes
out why this wrong. is.
What's up,
I'm
Illis?
not having
You
gotten
should
an
have-
argument as to why it's
You
wrong.
should have an abortion debate since you've been gone for so long.
Yo, enough of this abortion, man. Like, God, can we talk about something else?
That's the
always
point
about
of the
abortion.
live, you dumb.
Like in the abortion live, and he's like, "Hey man,
Right.
I'm just saying, man.
we're walking through an NBA game. It's like, you know what, basketball. I had enough of that. Like, what are you like? Let's go play hockey."
Exactly. Hey, hockey's happening right
Yeah,
now.
bro
You know,
jumps in the-
sometimes-
bro
Wait,
jumps
are you American, Astro?
Jumps in the
Yeah,
anime
yeah.
debate.
Yeah.
No,
All right, so
ethnically, I'm
you
Middle
to-
Eastern.
I want you to just lick my nuts right now. That's what I think about that hockey game.
Sorry, mate.
Illis
Can't do
hates
that.
Americans.
That's definitely not a part
It's
of
the
the
hockey.
debate.
It's the hockey game that we won. I'm Canadian.
Yeah, he won. They fucking won it in
No,
overtime.
it's like bro just
Oh, that
jumped into
that was so
It was-
refreshing.
It's like bro just jumped into like one of those anime debate lives and is like, you know what? We should just talk about like Marvel or something, guys. Like really.
Shout out Marvel Rivals, man. I've been grinding that
No
game.
longer
How's
talking
everyone's day going?
But
Bro,
yeah,
I'm about to clock into work soon.
Great, man. I gotta go
anyways.
do. I have to go finish a fucking literature review actually myself in 15 minutes. I gotta submit it.
nice.
Then I have a meeting with the
To you,
executive
mate.
of Bombardier, and then tomorrow I have to do comparative democracy lecture. It's my day.
All right, Lula's like gonna tweak.
No, she's about to spaz out. Yeah, she's
Nah
about to
or
spaz
Mars or one of the pro-choicers on the panel that you haven't talked to before.
Sure, Mars, why are you pro-choice?
I mean, I just think that it would hurt a lot of people for us to be pro-life. I also don't like the term pro-life because, like, any way you look at it, it is life. So, like, whether you like pro-choice is also saving a life.
I mean, we can
I just don't
replace
think
the
that we
term-
should limit it.
we can replace the term pro-life with being against, medical procedures that we find to be unnecessary that result in the ending of the life of the offspring. But that's just going to be a lot more of a mouthful. But that's fine, right? So just know that whenever the term pro-life is being used, at least in reference to me, it's going to be indexed to that type of a definition, right? That's going to be the understanding of it. It's not going to mean that it means that all things that are alive or all instances of life must be protected or anything like that. It's just going to come down to the fact that I don't believe that medical procedures that unnecessarily results in the ending of the life of the offspring should be justified and or permissible.
I appreciate you clearing up that term. When you say unnecessarily, like,
Yep.
are you talking about like any instance under the sun? Like it just should.
No. Ones that I find that are without true justification.
So it's not medically necessary.
What I would be-
Exactly. Like, you can't just fuck
Well,
around. Oh, she.
Well, like medically necessary, yes, but I also give the essay exception. I think that like if a woman like is essayed, she didn't knowingly or voluntarily take part in this action, so I don't think that there would be a justification to saying that she must continue this pregnancy from an action that was forced upon her.
Would age factor into that at all?
Well, of course. I mean, children can't consent. So if it's a non-consensual action, that's where the term voluntary comes from. Knowing and voluntary, one must be aware of the decision that they're making and then must choose to partake in the action itself that results in this.
So you just think so, as long as it's not medically, like you're exempting medically necessary. Medically necessary.
Exempting medically necessary. Well, I would be.
That's the soft. Like it's just like just people who are like, hey, I don't want to have this baby anymore. You know, that sort of decision.
Oh yeah, well that's not a medical necessity. Like if somebody's just like, hey, I don't want to have this child anymore. Well, no, that becomes elective, right? Because they're choosing to do this. When I'm talking about medical necessity, I mean, like,
so there's no like cutoff. Like there's no like 6 week whatever week period. You're just saying like no, hands down.
Oh yeah. Because I believe that I believe that at the moment of conception that it's going to be a distinctly it's going to be a distinct individual separate from that of the mother, and at that point I would give it specific entitlements that we would have as like humans, as a way to be able to make sure that our society is able to flourish and prosper. So
life begins at conception is what we're saying.
Yeah, biologically, and then also, like, in my view, philosophically, yes.
Well, I mean, if we're debating here philosophically, then
yeah, everything is everything about abortion. Everything about abortion is going to be a philosophical discussion, right? Like, if you use the term,
it's also a scientific one.
Well, no, but like, sure, we can say that the empirics can influence our moral views of things, but like, if I ask you, do you believe that abortion ought be allowed, should be allowed? Well, your answer is going to be yes, right? Well, that now is a moral claim. So now we have to go into navigating as to why that is the case, right? Even if you say that the science or some kind of empirical evidence is influencing your moral position, the main discussion is going to be around morals, which is obviously like a subcategory to the greater discussion around philosophy.
So you want to debate this on a moral plane and not a scientific one?
Well, I don't think I would contest. Again, I don't think I would contest basic science unless you're trying to saying that life doesn't begin at the moment of conception on a biological level, which would just be like wrong. But then if you're trying to make some kind of a claim that this child doesn't have, or the offspring, because I don't want to use loaded language for you, but this offspring doesn't have certain entitlements and or protections because of some lack of some kind of development in some area, or the lack of a prevalent aspect such as like sentience, this would still be a moral discussion. So I'm not the one that's only trying to have it. You are too. You're just saying that the empirics that you've seen are going to influence your moral view to be different than mine.
Not necessarily. I see the two as can be intersectional, and then they can also be taken apart. I mean, morally, like if we're talking about soul and whatnot, like I just put myself into the scenario, right? Like if I were to get an abortion, I'm just of the thought process that like that soul doesn't really enter that body until it is like on this earth. I can see it,
so,
right? It can support itself outside of.
So you just junk the empirical. Okay, never mind.
No, I appreciate you, bro.
I'm literally just making a claim outside of the science.
Well, sure. I mean, I'm not making
contain myself sometimes. That's all.
I'm not making any kind of ensoulment argument. If you're positing that the soul exists and that it doesn't occur until a certain amount of time, well, then I would need you to be able to provide some kind of evidence or burden of proof that could show this to be the case, as to why this would be the case, that it's appearing here and not any other time. And also prior to that, like how the soul exists itself. You have two different burdens that you would have to prove, because you've made two claims in that. You presuppose that a soul exists, and then you've also presupposed that it occurs at a specific amount of time. And I would need to know what evidence you have to be able to prove those things.
Okay, I was literally just giving you a hypothetical. I don't really know what you want me to debate. Like, that's your opinion.
You don't know what I want you to debate? Okay,
like okay, so you gave me outside of medically necessary, outside of like involuntary, right? You're just saying that somebody should not voluntarily elect to have an abortion.
Correct.
Okay.
Do you disagree?
What do you want me to?
Do you disagree?
Yeah, I mean, I disagree, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, perfect. Give me the argument. Yeah, all that debating is me coming with an opinion, you coming with an opinion, and us partaking in argumentation to seeing whose opinion seems to have more grounding to it, whose opinion seems to be more set in stone and would align with like the intuitions of those that are listening.
But you're saying that we're not going to base that in scientific fact. Like that's just going to have a small percentage.
I never once said that. No. I never once said that we can't discuss empirical evidence. What I did say is that the debate isn't only and solely going to be based around empirics, because even empirics itself, empirical evidence, how you want to debate science, well, that itself is a branch of philosophy. It's called empiricism. So like maybe you don't understand what philosophy is. Philosophy is the study and knowledge of the way that things work and the reality around us.
Yeah, no, I got that.
Okay, perfect. So then if you're debating about some kind of view because of something that's occurring within the reality of the world, then you're still going to be partaking in a conversation about philosophy. Maybe it's the word that you're thinking that you're getting caught up on. We don't even have to say that, right? We can just say that we are debating about our, like our intuitions, our feelings of how society should be, right? These things, like that's the whole purpose of this debate. So I'm confused when you say like you don't know what I want you to debate me on. Well, I want you to debate me on like why you disagree with the fact that individuals getting and wanting voluntary abortions should be able to receive them. Why is that?
I mean, I don't think life begins at conception.
Biologically or?
No, like biologically, I do not think life.
Wait, whoa.
How are we categorizing life?
Whoa.
How would you like?
Yeah, biologically, at the moment of conception, we acknowledge that there's going to be a new strand, not only a new strand of DNA that's going to be created due to due to conception, but also we're going to see clear biological markers that are going to be shown for the building blocks of life. And clearly, if there's building blocks of life, then life has thus begun and is
The
being
building
built,
blocks
right?
of though, like you couldn't just take that, you couldn't take those cells out and have them exist on their own.
Do you think that things that aren't viable aren't alive?
Yes.
Yes? Wait.
Life has to be self-sustaining.
Okay, cool. So there's 3 stages of existence: alive, dead, or inanimate. Do inanimate things grow?
Do inanimate things grow?
Yeah.
A rock? No.
Okay, perfect. Do dead things grow and develop?
No.
Oh, okay. So now, due to the deduction that we have there, the only 3 possible instances of existence, 2 of them are off the table, being inanimate and dead, and the only other option that we have to go with is alive. So,
But you're saying the building blocks of life. You're not saying a life.
Wait. Your own logic just literally, I don't care about anything that I said prior to that. Your own logic with the questions I just asked you, which we acknowledge that there is development and growth happening, shows you that it has to be alive. But yet you still reject this. So why do you reject your own logic? Unless there's a 4th stage of existence that I'm just simply not aware of. Maybe there's another plane of existence that things have rather than inanimate or dead or alive. What's the 4th stage?
No, I'm just saying, like, you're saying the building blocks of life. You're not saying actual life.
No. Like I said, we're going to
up until I think 22
I don't think
weeks
you're
like,
understanding. You're trying to like weasel your way out of this. But like I've already said,
I'm just using your language.
We can table. Listen. I'll table that claim. I'll even concede it to you. I did say that. Now let's focus on this claim right here. This claim right here, where you stated that it is not inanimate things cannot grow and develop, dead things cannot grow and develop. So therefore, there's only one other stage of life.
Well, it doesn't grow and develop in the sense of life.
I'm sorry?
A dead thing, the energy of a dead thing is reused. You could argue that creates life. That's the building blocks of life. But no.
You're spazzing. You're spazzing.
I'm spazzing?
Let's be very clear.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, like you're just like saying random shit. No different than like a schizophrenic individual in like the bus station that's trying to tell me the world's gonna end soon. But anyways, I really want you to hone in on this.
I'm throwing you a bone here by not being subjective.
I'm sorry, you're not throwing a bone. You're not throwing a bone to anything. It's very simple, right? You said that inanimate things do not grow and develop. Dead things do not grow and develop. There's only one other stage of life.
But so
there's only one other stage of existence, and it's living. Unless there's a 4th stage, you would have to concede that it is living. And I would nervously and anxiously laugh as well if I was making such a fool of myself over literally grade school anatomy. Understanding of human development. Yeah.
Okay, but just because it's living does not mean that it's sentient. Can't make a decision for itself.
Perfect. So it is
Like
biologically.
you get into the nitty gritty things. It's
So
the
it is
building blocks of life.
biologically
I'm not
alive.
denying that like
So it's
that
biologically
sperm
alive.
and the egg will not, if carried to term and throughout a certain point in the pregnancy, become a life. I'm not denying that.
Wait. Is it biologically alive at the moment of conception? If
No,
not-
it's the building blocks of life.
How is
It
it
has the
growing and developing?
potential
How
to
is it
be
growing
alive.
and developing? What fourth stage of existence is it? How is it growing and developing?
I'd say it's inanimate.
It's inanimate. So inanimate things do grow.
No.
Direct contradiction. I don't know if you're like tracking. You sound dumb right now.
You do realize that like even in that stage, that pregnancy can become not viable, right? It can go dormant. It can not grow.
It can become not viable. But does that mean that it is not living prior to that occurring? And the answer is, obviously, it is living. Because even you said inanimate things can't grow and develop. So therefore, it can't be inanimate because it's growing and developing at the moment of conception. Cell replication is occurring. The organism itself is growing. It is in a stage of development. So therefore, it has to be alive biologically. I can't believe that we're in 2025, in the big 25. We had to spend this much time for you to acknowledge that a human organism at the moment of conception is alive, and because it's growing and developing, and you can't deny that.
It
And
has the
Don't you have a
potential
master's
to be
in
a life.
Bro, it's not, I'm sorry, a potential to be alive. It is literally alive by growing and developing.
Doesn't she have a master's in science?
What stage of existence is it in if it's not alive? You said inanimate, but then I asked you, can inanimate things grow and develop? And then you doubled down and said no. That's a direct contradiction.
I literally said no.
I think
the
she
first-
used ChatGPT to get her degree.
Oh yeah, no, you totally got me. I totally did.
up.
That's definitely what it is. Yeah.
That GPT wouldn't be this irrational.
Yeah, definitely use ChatGPT. Let's see, it's not the 15th best university in the world. My God, bro. Like that's how I
Wow,
know
you
this
have
shit's
money.
bad. Is because you gotta like
ChatGPT wouldn't be
up.
this irrational. And again, you can sit here and like try to like swerve out of this
All
to
right,
only talk about like
let's
the
say-
meta.
okay.
I don't care about the meta.
All right,
I want you to
it's
answer
a life.
it.
Listen to me, Mufa. It's a life. Okay, so then what? It's not a sentient
Okay,
breathing
perfect.
thing. It cannot sustain itself outside of the womb. It is not going to know if it is
What do you mean
taken
by-
away.
What do you mean by sustain itself outside of the womb?
It can't live outside of the womb.
It can't live outside of the womb. Well, sure, like, but then that just comes down to an aspect of like environment. Like I can place you into another environment that you wouldn't be able to like live, thrive, or survive, but that doesn't mean that like I can do so or that it's justified for me to be able to do so.
Well, no, because I'm a fully formed human.
Wait, what do you mean by fully
Sentient and
formed?
conscious. Like,
Sentient. Okay, so fully formed, sentient, and conscious. Are all of these things necessary, or what's necessary?
you're saying there's life, right, in the biological sense.
Ask you a
and then there's
question.
what do you mean? What do you
Ask you a
say it
question.
again?
What do you mean? Okay, so you said fully formed, sentient, and conscious. Are all of these things necessary, or what out of those things is necessary for you to give some kind of form of moral, fuck, I totally forgot the name. Some kind of moral entitlement or protections.
All of them. I would need them to
All
be
of them?
sentient, alive, and conscious.
Wait, no, okay, wait. So we already agreed it's alive. Now it's about sentient and conscious. So fully developed doesn't matter there. So that was just like weird rhetoric that you just threw in because you were just
that what constitutes me as fully developed when you are sentient and conscious, which happens at 24 weeks. Sometimes 22.
24-week-olds are fully developed? Or are they
Yes,
still developing?
that's why I say
Wait,
no
yes?
abortion after that unless it's medically necessary.
Wait, yes, they're fully developed at 24 weeks?
Because they have a sentient mind
Mm-hmm.
that can experience things with a consciousness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so first off, what are you basing sentience or consciousness on? Like, what is making sentience arise? For one, at 24 weeks that you don't see prevalent within any of the prior weeks. Two, fully developed. I don't know if that's just like a rhetorical blunder that you're making there, because Obviously, it would be asinine for us to say that 24-week-olds are going to be fully developed, considering the fact that we know there's multiple different stages of life of development that they're currently still going through. Even their brain and the way that it's like the neurotypical structures and the way that it's formulating and all of these things don't finish developing until 25 years old at the earliest. So
I'm not saying when the brain is fully developed. I'm
Okay, so
saying
they're not
when a
fully
fetus gets to the point
Okay, so
of
they're not fully
consciousness,
developed.
I would consider that a fully formed life.
wait, so they're not fully developed though? Like I just want to be clear. about
In the sense of a fetus growing, is what I'm saying.
that. Wait, they're fully developed in the sense of the stage of development of a fetus?
If we're talking about abortion, right, you're talking about when, if at any point is okay to terminate a pregnancy, then yes, we would be talking about a fetus.
Yeah, no, I'm tracking. I don't know why you had to act like I wasn't tracking. I understand what the conversation is. I'm just confused about the verbiage that you're using.
You're confused about what verbiage exactly?
Yeah, fully developed and then labeling a stage of development where obviously we recognize there's further development to be had. Clearly not full development.
You could argue that you're fully developed once you're dead. Like,
What?
you go through life, you have experiences, like like you go through the aging process. You could argue that that's full development. I'm talking about the development cycle of a fetus up until the point of birth.
Up until the...
Yeah,
If we're talking about
one thing to
abortion,
say.
Wait.
You guys are going in circles.
You think that newborns are still fetuses?
no, I said up until the point of birth. That is then a human being.
Wait, so like where's the neonate stage?
Are you not okay?
Like what are you talking
You're
about?
talking about
You
if
said
we're
up until the point of
tracking-
birth. You said up until the point of birth, but prior to birth, while it's still in the womb, it becomes a neonate. It's no longer a fetus. A fetus is a specific stage of development.
Okay, we can use whatever terminology you would like.
Well, I'm just confused by your verbiage. And like for somebody that holds and was trying to flex this idea of having a master's in science,
I literally wasn't flexing
you have a
anything.
very poor way of being able to explain very simplistic aspects of human development.
I'm over here trying to dumb my fucking self down, right? Because I've been
Dumbing
told
yourself
to
down?
be humble here, right? To pull back.
Okay, well, like, don't dumb yourself down to the point of being stupid.
Yeah, you're talking about like, oh my god, I flexed this and that. I didn't flex shit. Okay, your boy came in here and was like, I have degree in this. I'm like, okay, well, I actually have degree in this too. So like, what's up? You know, Court's writing a dissertation. That's great. I'm not saying that you have to have a higher education.
You didn't.
Yeah.
You can't sense the inflection of my voice.
Yeah,
No!
and by the way, just to
Oh my
clarify
god, I'm
real
saying
quick,
like legitimately that's good for you.
just-
But I'm
okay,
saying
that's so good.
you
That's so
don't
good.
have to have a higher education to have skin in the game.
Oh, okay.
So for
okay.
you to say that I'm flexing this and flexing that, like it's just untrue.
Okay, for sure. All I'm saying is that like you like bringing up the fact you have a master's, right, in science, and then poorly explaining these aspects in the way that you are is what's making me confused. Because I've talked to many doctors on here, I've talked to many people that are within the medical field, and they don't seem to struggle with these kind of concepts as much as you are right now. And by the way, to the person, Nana, not a single ad hom have I thrown once. An ad hom is to not address her argument and to just insult her. I haven't done that one time.
Y'all
Addressed
literally
her
have.
argument.
You just
I've
said I've
addressed her argument
been my
every single time.
education.
You've tried to obfuscate. I've pointed it out every single time that it's happened. I've tried to bring you back to the original point. And then sure, I might throw an insult here or there, but that's because I'm an abrasive debater. But because I insult you doesn't mean it's an ad hom, because I'm addressing your arguments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Usually when you throw out like a personal dig, that to me, at least in the legal sense, means that your argument is out.
Well, yeah, no, that's not even in a legal sense. In a legal sense, that's not the debate we're having. So that's just pitiful. That's just pitiful too.
The model of debate pitiful. I mean, like where does the
pitiful.
disrespect end? Like I'm so glad that you feel so secure.
Okay, well, clearly didn't want to hear that. But anyways, again, I'm just waiting. So again, so you said when it comes to sentience, this is developing at 24 weeks. I asked you a question. Here's a prime example of obfuscation that was never provided for Nana up in the top box that insists that I am ad homing. Please, let's understand that she never answered where sentience is arising from at 24 weeks that isn't prevalent prior to. But instead, we went on a whole entire meta conversation, but she never answered that question, which I asked right when she presented sentience.
She dropped.
Yeah.
Okay.
W-Mans, shout out to you, bro.
Usually I don't take pleasure in the downfall of other pro-choice arguments, but that one I enjoyed.
That was fun. I enjoyed it. Science rules.
Is anybody, I guess, you're pro-choice, right? Did you want to talk to anybody up here?
Oh, no pro-choice, pro-life.
Astro, I think, wanted to debate Astro.
Oh, really? Oh,
And by the way, Josh asked me to be a little bit more rude and abrasive to her. I'm not quite sure why, because I wasn't in here. But shout out to Josh, man. I got you, buddy.
Shout out to the real ones, man. No facade.
So am I the only other pro-choice person in here?
No.
Who else?
I'm pretty sure like everybody on the panel.
Well, the mess, great mess.
Bro, I got 20 minutes to cook you. So.
I'm pro-choice, but I'm not defending you, so you can do this on your own.
I didn't need you to defend me. I'm sorry, I don't need
why
any.
it matters who else is pro-choice.
I was just asking who else was pro-choice.
I think everybody except for Astro and Mustafa.
Okay. Well, she could just said that. Anyways,
Shout out to the pops, though.
Okay, can I talk?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
believe that I am pro-choice up until like 24 weeks, just because I do believe that having a premature pregnancy is not safe at all. Obviously, it can lead to health complications and stuff. And then also, I feel like nowadays it's not safe. Like, there's too much stuff going on to just keep popping out kids. And I understand, like, having kids, you have to have stuff to have kids, but it costs more money because kids cost money.
Okay.
You're just gonna be paying more in taxes.
Okay.
That's pretty much. I gotta go off of something.
Yeah, that's just I don't know what you're trying to say there, but I mean, you can just if like you're in a relationship with someone, right, and you're like, okay, you guys want to have fun. You can just have that conversation of, okay, let's be really safe about this. Let's do everything correctly and not get you pregnant, So, and doing abortion is not always the right answer. Like he said, if it's a medical reason, okay, that's fine. But if it's not a medical reason or something that occurred like SA or anything else like that in that matter, then it shouldn't be right to just pop a pill or do a procedure where you take an innocent life away.
Okay, then what if they don't have a good quality of life, or where they will not have a good quality of life, like deformities or homelessness?
Who, the child or the parents?
Both. Well, yeah, for good quality of life, definitely the child, and for
But then you're just justifying mercy killings.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to justify it. I'm asking him, what if in like homelessness and not good quality of life?
Yeah. What about the kids that are already incurring?
Okay, like I said, I was debating Astro.
Okay, well, I mean, like you could not answer the question. That's fine. He's just going to ask you the same question.
Like I said, answer my question. What about if homelessness and not good quality
All
of
right,
life?
Astro, ask the same question I just asked.
Dude.
So, yeah, exactly. Like what he said. Just rewriting. I mean, look, okay. No, it's okay. Mustafa, I got you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, yeah, you're talking about homelessness and all that. In this time right now, that's a thing that's happening. And it's like they just, I don't know, man. It's like for homelessness, you can't say like, oh, it's their fault. They're having a child. Like that just, you can't really say that for a pro-life or a pro-choice. Let me ask you something. All right. Let's say you're in a relationship, right? You guys are in college, right? Homeboy knocks you up. Are you going to keep the child or are you going to abort the child?
It depends. What am I going through? Is he toxic? Do I have more stuff going on?
No, traits shouldn't matter. Just answer the question.
Well, in college, yeah, I'll probably keep it.
Okay, so then why are you defending pro-choice?
I'm not following. What's the point?
All right, so you said you're gonna keep it. So why are you pro-choice?
Yeah, because I'm not in a situation where I'm broke or I'm in college. I can move back home.
Okay.
I'm confused. What are you following? What are you?
No, I'm just saying, like, and it's just like it's simple. You don't have to take the child's life away. It's like, you know, you guys had that
Because I'm in a good situation. Well, not necessarily a good situation because I'm in
So
college.
you're saying
but
at 20 years old, you're in a good situation. Like your life is set. You got everything.
Somebody mute his mic.
Yo, Habibi, my brother. Mute your mic. Thank you.
Is that just not okay? Anyways, like I said, you're not telling me the context. You're not telling me if I'm in a whole situation. All you said was I was in college. That's all
right. You got a job? Are you working right now? You got full time?
You tell me.
You got health benefits?
You're making a scenario. You're making a scenario. I'm answering.
I'm just saying, bro. You need you got to check everything until you can bring a child in this world, bro. Like you can't just.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So you got good health insurance? Like you got the best plan?
That's what. Look at he's saying. He's saying.
Are you about to pay rent?
Dude.
Are you about to pay for clothes, food, diapers, a crib?
Dude, that's pro-choice. Are you slow?
No, bro. I'm not slow. I'm just saying.
That's the premise. Okay, so let me give you a scenario. You
All
are
right,
broke. Don't speak over me. You are broke. You are homeless. You have no money. You just got knocked up. Got kicked out of your parents' house because it's a very big scenario for a lot of people. And you're, let's say, younger.
Dope. What about
16.
people that are incurring those
16.
situations right now?
Okay, I wasn't finished talking. Please stop talking over me.
I don't care. It's the same question that you never answered.
Okay, but I'm telling because you're not giving me a clear-cut scenario.
What about children? What about children that are experiencing all of the scenarios that you're giving the example for? Is it justified to just go
Well,
and
if I could finish my scenario,
because of the negative conditions of living that they're incurring? Answer the question.
So you want me to answer my own question?
Right. That's what he's saying.
No, I'm not asking you to answer your own question.
But you just said, okay.
Maybe I'll say it slower for you. What about the children that are out of the womb already that are experiencing these negative situations and circumstances? Is it justified to kill them?
No, it's not justified to kill a child. I'm telling you.
Okay, so a child is
out of the womb. Okay.
So a child is
They've already had the
difference
child.
of the womb? What's the difference between
the difference of the womb is that they're not viable. I'm going to say parasite.
They're not viable.
They can't live without their mother. They can't live without their husband.
Okay, great. When does viability?
Do you have another mod on the panel?
Viability is at 20 weeks.
At 20 weeks. Okay.
No, I don't, but I'll be good.
Okay.
Great, and then-
I'll be back in a sec.
And then let me make sure that you're understanding this. When you base a position of some kind of moral entitlements based around a moral value, based around something like viability, this is going to be dependent upon the socioeconomic status of the region. So, for example, in westernized countries, because the medical facilities and means are going to be more efficient. This means
last time I checked, it's only banned in the U.S.
Remember when you threw a tantrum?
Where else would I be? Where else would I be? Where else would I be?
Wait, so cool. That's fine. You can be in the U.S., but that still means that individuals, if this is the standard that this is being held towards, children that are in less developed countries are not going to have the same type of moral value until later on. So white babies in the West.
That's what I thought. Wasn't this a 1v1 with us?
Moral value. Nana,
I already said I wasn't going to jump into anything else.
Mustafa,
listen.
Wasn't this a 1v1 with us?
You're interjecting in the middle of the debate to say nothing. You're interjecting
She wasn't talking to you. She was talking to us.
Me debating.
Security.
It doesn't matter.
This is so dumb.
It was a 1v1. You had tag team.
I don't care, bro. Clearly,
I don't care
the conversation,
either. I will interrupt you
between
as well.
Astro and her wasn't
Clearly, Astro couldn't handle by
then
himself.
it ends.
Now I got both these women
asked him to hop in, but my man wants
the
to
way
say
the two of you
something.
attacked her.
Your man.
Now I've got both these women just tripping.
You
know,
had
man.
you were
He's
two
Bob's,
women
man.
attacking
He's
one woman
Bob's
as well.
unite.
Same thing. Why you can't handle it?
anyways-
Deal it out.
Now, anyways, listen. She's literally interrupting to say nothing.
You interrupted me first.
People so many times they don't want to get interrupted back. What's really going on?
But
Hey,
yeah,
buddy, go back in the closet.
For one,
Put your mother's in the closet.
For one, what's really
back in the
going on
closet.
is the fact that your friend can't debate. That's why you.
Why Astro cannot debate either. That is why he left. Astro cannot debate either. That's why he
still
left.
here, man.
Let Astro handle himself.
I'm good, man.
Okay, perfect, great.
Then the conversation is
Astro
over.
just passed it.
Hey, guys.
Astro
Then the
just passed
conversation
it.
is over.
Astro just passed it to me, so now you can go back on mute, Nana. Perfect. Now, anyways,
There we go.
Again, as I was saying, right?
No, you don't have to engage with him.
I wasn't going to.
She literally
Anyways, I was
has
asking
to
Astro the
interject.
scenario.
She
I was
has to
asking for
interject.
context on the scenario. You can shut up. I
So
was
again,
asking for
so
context on the
again,
scenario.
so
I was
again.
asking, am I broke?
Wait, Astro.
Are we not in a good relationship?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Do you mind if I take it over from you?
Yeah, bro, you good? I got work in like.
No,
I got you.
Nah,
I got
you mind if I take
Perfect.
it over
Okay,
from
perfect.
here?
Because last time I checked,
Nah,
Astro
so-
was
nah,
talking a
sweetie.
whole bunch of
So
stuff.
again,
Nah,
so
sweetie,
Astro
you mind
just
if I take it
passed
over
it
from
to
here?
me. Lula, what the fuck is happening here? What the
Nah,
fuck is going on?
baby, is it okay
Yo,
if I
I
take
ain't
it
gonna lie,
over from
man.
here?
These
as well?
bops be wild.
Okay,
You guys
now,
gotta
anyways.
you guys gotta stop talking
No.
over each other.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
agree. Thank you.
Breaking
Yeah, I know.
news.
Yeah, I
Bob's
know.
had much in the
Yeah,
chat.
everyone stop talking over each other. Like it's hard to hear as like a viewer on the outside too. So
Weird.
you know,
So,
like
so again,
ID, stop talking over Mustafa and Astro for a second. Let him finish. Just let him finish his sentence and then rebuttal. Okay.
He's been interrupting me this entire
so
time.
anyway, oh my god.
Let's just take turns. Okay. Let's just
acting
Wait,
take turns.
Mustafa, before I go to work, can I just say one more thing, my brother?
Oh my gosh, shut up.
Right.
All right. So look, man, I shout out you, bro, for like holding ground against these bops because they got really nothing going for their life,
Like your fat ass.
and they just want to sit here and just.
Thanks, man.
Rage bait.
All right, now anyways, right? The question is very simple. You said, well, no, obviously we can't unalive a kid that's already been born. And then I asked you, what's the difference between in the womb and out of the womb? And you need to identify some kind of a
Well, I
principle.
was answering it before I was really interrupting.
Symmetry.
Because liability, I'm going to say, not to take the suspense, but I'm going to say the child's kind of like, well, the child inside the womb is kind of like a parasite. I'm going to try why it's a parasite.
How is it a parasite?
Can you let me talk?
Oh?
I mean, I just asked a clarifying
Like,
question.
no, because I'm not finished. I was going to answer that, but you're not letting people finish and you're being rude.
Okay, well, now it's meta. Just answer.
Very rude.
Okay, anyways.
Respectful.
Like, sorry, I have my brother in the back. So, I go based off of viability. A child cannot, viability is 20 weeks. Okay, we already discussed that. You can't just say we're gonna kill children outside the womb. It doesn't work like that. Okay, it's considered a parasite because it grows inside of her and it can't not survive without her. I believe that until it can survive outside the womb, viability, then I think it has the right to be bye-bye. Like that's where I believe it can be aborted. 20 weeks.
Okay, perfect. So again, if we go back to the point about viability, then if this is the standard that is set, this means that white babies in Western and European countries are going to be able to get moral value prior to like children in Haiti or the Caribbean that have a less developed medical system. Do you think that this is a good standard for us to set based on the socioeconomic region? Whether or not humans get moral value is dependent upon whether or not they're rich enough to be able to have medical facilities that can make them viable at an earlier point in time. Okay, so you're not even.
No, I'm answering the question. My brother made me laugh. I'm thinking about the question.
Okay.
So we went all the way to Hades, and we're talking about. Well, let me finish. We're talking about how they don't have good medical practices, or not enough.
He just listening to you. He's responding.
Okay. So Hades and not having. So whoa, what are you trying to get at?
You're not tracking. No, so you're not tracking. So if you base a position such as viability for moral value, this means that it comes down to the socioeconomic position within the region that it's being applied. If this is the standard that's being set, this means.
Can we stay in the U.S.?
So you apply different moral standards to different individuals based on what? Why would not all humans be treated equally?
Because different economical statuses. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure a rich millionaire person would have no reason to abort their child unless like medical reasons.
Actually, no. Actually, that's not true. Like rich
Didn't Trump actually pay for like 17 of them?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, like rich people actually we see are pretty fond of abortion. We actually see more instances of reproduction that take place with those that are in actually like lower socioeconomic classes as opposed to higher.
Yeah.
Lower socioeconomic classes reproduce more than those that are within like higher socioeconomic.
But there's a reason for that. They can't afford the child.
Wait, I'm sorry. Let me repeat myself. Lower socioeconomic classes reproduce, aka have more kids than those that are in a higher socioeconomic class.
Because they probably have.
And they can't actually get.
Can I talk? Who's that? I don't know.
Go for it.
Because they probably have more of a status to uphold, and you can't just be. I mean,
So now it's about status. I thought it was about money.
It's about both status and money.
Okay.
Status, money.
Rich people. I mean, most people who are rich. When I'm talking about rich, I mean, like you go on a yacht and stuff like that. We need to classify rich.
You go
Let's say
on
millionaires
a yacht and
instead.
stuff.
I feel like they would have more of a reason to abort or secretly abort because of a status they need to uphold. Because I'm pretty sure most millionaires have a status. They have, practices.
Millionaires who could easily provide for their children, not even just their children, but tons of children, have more of a reason to get an abortion? Is that what you just said? For status?
Right.
Yeah, because they're gonna.
Yeah.
So it's ethical to kill our offspring if it means
For
that we're going to
status.
keep our,
I'm not saying it's
keep our
ethical. I'm saying
celebrity
that's
status.
more of a reason why people do it.
Okay, so would you ban? So if it's not ethical, would you ban abortions for those that are rich that are only trying to do it for status?
No, I don't think it's a good reason to abort a child, though. For status, I don't think that's a good reason.
So you're allowing for things that you find to be like morally impermissible to be permissible in society. Why? Laws are supposed to be enacted in order, like in accordance, to be able to enforce some form of moral standard within society. So why would you say that something that's morally impermissible is now permissible under the purview of the law?
I'm just saying I don't think that's a good reason to abort. I mean, legally, sure.
But if it's not a good
Wait,
reason,
I'm not finished.
but if you
Legally,
say, wait, hold up. If you say it's not a good reason, that means that you find it to be without justification. If you're unaliving your offspring,
uphold a
without
status.
justification-
Yeah, that's
Okay,
unjustification.
perfect.
You
So
shouldn't
then
kill your-
that would be schmurder, because it's an unjustified form of
can't say-
unaliving of another human.
I'm saying that's unjustified. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. If it's an unjustified unaliving of another human, that's what we categorize as schmurder.
Okay.
It's not.
I mean, y'all can kiki and laugh with each
No,
other,
I
but you
know.
just make the argument.
word. Like,
No, because why did you say it like that? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to get the host flagged.
Okay.
We're kind of getting off track here and kind
No,
of.
we are still.
I'm gonna-
the only people that are,
We went.
the only people.
No,
the only
this
people that are
conversation
off
is very much on track. What's off
Yeah,
track
Okay,
about the
what's off
conversation?
track? What?
The only people that
Who
are
the
off
fuck
track.
is talking to me right now?
Yeah, the only
Please.
people that are off track are the
Okay.
ones that are
Well,
kiki and like
we're kind
SpongeBob.
of getting off.
Who keeps muting Mustafa?
Right? That's the only people that are off track. Are the ones that are sitting there keying it up rather than just answering the question.
Like I was saying, do you think in quality of life and homelessness, do you think the child should be aborted? If you have nothing, if you have nothing, the quality of life is not going to be good. The quality of life is not going to be good.
Let's rephrase this. Do you think that if the fetus...
No, let's not rephrase it.
Hold on. Let me...
Just answer the question.
Do you think that if somebody is poor or isn't going to be able to provide a good life to the baby, that they should be forced to have an abortion?
Nobody's saying that it should be forced or this and that.
Well, that's the exact question that she's asking Mustafa is, should they be aborted?
Right.
Up to the person that's actually having the child.
Should we have to abort babies that are going to be born into unfortunate circumstances?
Right. And then that also...
if the circumstances are worse enough, then yeah.
Wait, okay, so if the circumstances are worse, so then that goes right back into the point about the mercy killings. What about children that are currently experiencing abuse? Children that are currently experiencing food insecurity? Children that are currently experiencing a lack of a shelter or a house? Should they just be removed from society? Because, I mean, it prevents them from continuing to incur all of these negative circumstances.
Nobody's saying that. you can't do that after the. Okay.
Wait, give me the symmetry breaker.
Lord, take a breath.
I'm gonna take a breath.
Show me how it's.
I'm saying.
No.
Okay.
Show me how it's disanalogous and give me the symmetry breaker. You gave me an example. I gave you a parallel example, at least one that I find to be parallel. You say it's not the same. That means that it's disanalogous. That means that it's not parallel. So now you have to give me the symmetry breaker. What makes it to where these two things are not exactly alike, principally?
Your makeup isn't actually symmetrical.
Their makeup? I don't even know what this dude is talking about.
Your makeup, literally what you just...
Your makeup, what do you mean by that?
Are you referring to the genetic makeup?
Is human DNA still human DNA, no matter the fucking stage of development? Then that doesn't work here.
Is it sentient? No.
Wait, okay, wait, great.
So I agree. We should definitely kill all the children outside the room.
Real.
Okay, perfect. You're just trolling now because you can't give a counter argument. Now, anyways, Colin, what makes sentience arise?
What do you mean, what makes sentience arise?
Yeah, what makes it to where sentience happens? What neurotypical structures, what aspects of the brain is making sentience arise, and when does this occur?
If a child has actually been born and not feeding off of their mother from the inside.
Wait, so now it's no longer about sentience, it's about viability. So now I'm confused.
How are you confused?
Yeah, because viability is not sentience. Sentience is not viability. So when I asked you what makes sentience arise and when does it happen, you pivoted to viability.
As Na said before, they're a parasite within the womb.
Oh my god.
Okay, perfect.
A parasite literally feeds off of the host.
Okay,
and that is what...
Yeah. Do parasites have symbiotic relationships with, or mutually beneficial relationships with their hosts?
Not always.
Could you give me an example?
No.
Can you give me an example of ones that do? Because if you can't, then it's not a parasite.
How is it not a parasite?
Last I checked, parasites don't share stem cells that repair tissue damage to vital organs.
Parasites can really feed off of the host to actually become stronger.
Which has been proved by ASU in pregnant women. The stem cells from the developing fetus go and traverse throughout the body and will repair tissue on vital organs within the woman's body while she's pregnant. So that's a benefit. Unless you think repairing damaged tissue to vital organs isn't a benefit.
How many cases does this happen? The percentage of stem cell repairing tissue tissue.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it happens generally in pregnancy. So it's a known trait of pregnancy.
The percentage.
I can't give you an exact percentage. They literally say that this is typical.
You looked it up.
So it's a possibility.
I gave you the study, and they say it's a typical.
I understand, but at the end of the day,
I'm not telling you it's a possibility. Remember when you threw a whole tantrum, stamped your feet on the ground, and told me that I interrupt? Why are you?
I didn't stamp my feet. I was sitting down.
Yeah, it's
anyway.
I understand you might not be able to track with that, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I get you. How about you speak to me now?
How about
Are
I
you done?
speak to you? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Why are you pro-choice?
I'm pro-choice because before sentience, the fetus has nothing that I value.
Great. What makes sentience arise and when?
It's the only thing that we give more consideration to.
What makes sentience arise and when?
Well, the stem cell. Let's say the brain stem, layman term.
The brain stem.
Mustafa, does it actually matter for the ethical conversation what makes it begin, or just that it's present?
Well, it's because I can further reduce the argument to points where like it's effectively just going to become a pro-life situation, especially if she just says the brain stem. The brain stem.
The brain stem's probably not the best answer.
So
but
the brain stem begins to.
I've read on it, but I don't remember the scientific terms. They're talking about tubules and things like that.
The brain stem is
I'm not a biologist.
It's not similar.
The main thing, yeah, that's fine. I don't remember the scientific terms. I just remember tubules, blah blah blah. I'm not a biologist, so at whatever stage in which the sentience develops.
Wait, do you hold the 20 to 24 weeks stance?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, then I can argue for you. So, it would arise from different parts of the brain, but when the cerebral cortex starts developing, you can start perceiving things, and that's where sentience occurs.
Yeah. What about cases of children?
Describe.
Yeah. What about cases of children that don't have a complex cerebral cortex and that they're capable of being able to
Okay, this is why I didn't want you to ask me like direct. Hold on, Robin. This is the reason why it doesn't matter. This is my stance, right? My stance is this. I was the one actually talking. My stance is this. At whatever stage
You were
in
not
which sanctions
talking.
is
Robin was
developed.
talking, and you very rudely.
I was talking, and then she said she'll take over for me.
I only explained the scientific level. Nana can take over from here.
Well, hold up, yeah, but I just want to
That's
finish.
fine. We don't even need that. That's the thing. We don't need the scientific
answering to
level.
you.
We are not having a biological argument. We are arguing about what? Sentience, right? Or at whatever stage in which sentience develop, that is when I value it.
Okay, perfect.
What next?
Perfect. So then if sentience is developed via the brainstem, the beginning formulation of the brainstem as well as neuronic plates are going to be found within the earliest weeks of pregnancy. Like we're talking prior to 10
Is it sentience?
pregnancy. So
Is
at
it
that
sentience?
point, wait, is it brainstem that makes something sentient?
Again, I'm not arguing biology. At
Your
whatever
position-
stage,
your
whether it is
position
1 week,
was
2
brainstem.
weeks, again,
If your
babe,
position
again.
is brainstem, then that means
My
that the
position is not brainstem. My
beginning-
position is sentience. You're trying to
And
catch
you
me on a
said it was
technicality. I'm not a
dependent upon the
biologist.
brain.
I don't know the scientific term.
One sec. Mustafa and I are friends, so maybe I can ask him a question that's going to help clarify. Mustafa, if it's the case that she just says, well, presumably there's going to be some brain parts that need to develop in order for sentience to begin, and once these things develop, I'm going to grant moral consideration. And then you say something like, okay, well, what if these things don't develop? Or she says, once these develop, I would have a cutoff. And you say, okay, well, what about children that these things don't develop in? Presumably, it would be fine for her to just say, well, it's typical, prima facie, or it's typical for these things to develop by this point in time in the pregnancy. And if these things, didn't develop in this one specific case, then maybe there would be room for a medical exception depending on the severity. And absent of that, then I would say that you're still obligated to the pregnancy. What's the problem with her presenting you a position that goes something like that?
Yeah, if she's stating that it's on a prima facie basis, well then obviously sentience wouldn't be considered to be like a necessary condition.
Well, of course it's not a necessary condition. Sentience is almost always presented as a sufficient condition.
So if it's not a necessary condition, then what would be the problem with saying that in instances of pregnancy where sentience isn't present, that we'd still say that abortion is wrong?
Well, she could just say it's typical.
Because her position was very strong, saying that if it's not sentient or doesn't have sentience, then therefore
but she
it's
could
justified. So
okay, yeah. If it's not, this is when it's typical of this to happen, and because this is when it's typical, this is when I'd be comfortable with restrictions. Then maybe not.
Because she made a very concrete claim there, right? Like your claim I don't see an issue with, but their claim of saying if it's not sentient, well then it's fine. This makes it a necessary condition.
Okay, yeah, I do see what you're saying. I mean, typically, Nana, we do present sentience as a sufficient condition because it is conceivable to think that, there may be a particular case where a being's not sentient, but we would still grant consideration to them. Take, for instance, like if you know that this fetus is absolutely going to find the cure for cancer, well, presumably you would say that mother should probably remain pregnant, regardless of whether or not the fetus is sentient, because of the strict, solely because of the utility consequences there.
An argument, wouldn't it? Then I'd be arguing utility.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you think that sentience is a necessary condition? Do you think that absent of sentience, there's absolutely no conceivable situation in which you would grant moral consideration?
It would have to be, like you said, with a positive utility, in that it's going to provide something other than it being alive and having what humans have. Like
so
you
then
said,
sentience
maybe.
would be like a prima facie condition. It's just on its face by value, and typically absent of this trait, I don't see why I would.
Yeah, typically, meaning that in most cases, it's not going to cure cancer. So unless you can stipulate that, and you can stipulate with certainty that this fetus is going to provide such a huge positive utility, then yes, I might grant it moral consideration. Until then, for the most part, most of them, no, I do not grant them moral consideration before sentience.
Okay, Mustafa, maybe pick it up from there.
Sure.
Now that we've clarified her position.
Sure. So when you're saying that you believe there to be at sentience, you believe that a woman must carry the pregnancy through to fruition, correct?
Yes, I think it will be morally, not pragmatically, but morally, yes.
Morally, not pragmatically.
That there are other scenarios in which I would grant her the ability to have the abortion, even if it's sentient.
Right. So then it doesn't actually. Okay. For one, when you say morally but not pragmatically, but you're saying that you're placing value and moral value on sentient beings, but yet you would still allow for these. You don't need to do that.
Yes, on a case-by-case basis, yes. Pragmatically, yes.
You don't need to.
I don't need to do what?
I didn't even finish my sentence. I could have said. I could have said in the next.
I'll mute. Go ahead.
I could have said in the next words that means that you're a stupid idiot, and then you would have been like yes, and then you would have looked like a stupid idiot. So let's not do that. Now, anyways, right? Now, anyways, it's just showing how irrational you're being. In the case of right. That you would allow for these abortions to still take place, even though you're saying that you're giving value towards sentient beings. I don't really see like the means as to why it even matters that you say that you give value towards sentient beings, because you still allow the abortion to take place anyways.
My cat mom his cat.
So I can give examples. In real life, there are sentient beings who are human and alive that I would also give more consideration to someone else if they unalive that sentient being. So I said it is what? Based on a case-by-case basis. Even with sentient, there are times where I would grant more consideration to someone else over the sentient being, in and out of the womb.
Okay, do you not believe that children or offspring have rights more over their parents or guardian?
Right over their parents or guardian, explain.
Yeah, do you believe that the offspring of an individual, or whether biological or whether through contractual means, do you believe that those individuals are obligated or responsible with giving their bodily resources to sustain the life of the child?
For as long as they assume responsibility or guardianship of whatever it is, yes.
Okay, so then if in the case where the offspring is at its fundamentally most vulnerable and most reliant, why do you no longer choose to acknowledge this to be the case?
Because I do not value beings that are not sentient.
Wait, even if they are sentient, you're saying that you'd still allow them to be?
If they are sentient, yes. What is going on here? I said yes. If they are sentient, then the family, the mom, the dad, whatever, whoever assumes guardianship is responsible and obligated to take care of them.
But no, you wouldn't enforce this. But you wouldn't enforce this responsibility.
I would.
When
they're sentient, yes.
So pragmatically, you would say that a woman must continue an abortion to its fruition.
Yes, for as long as there's positive utility. Yes, I told you there are certain situations in which it will override it.
No, you're not understanding. You said no literally less than 5 minutes ago.
Are you trying to get me in a gotcha of something I've already clarified before?
I'm trying to understand your position, because you said morally yes, pragmatically no.
To what? What did I say morally yes, pragmatically no to?
To the fact that you would say that a woman must carry a pregnancy to fruition if the child becomes sentient. You said morally yes,
for the most part,
no.
Yes. Because when we're talking about absolute, if I'm talking about,
if you're saying pragmatically no, that means you're not enforcing the responsibility that you believe is present
at all times. No, I don't enforce it at all times, and I give clarifications as to why I would say it depends on a case-by-case basis. It's not a case-by-case basis. It's not a case-by-case basis.
It depends on a case-by-case
before
basis.
Sentience.
What?
It's not a case-by-case basis before sentience. Yes, medical exception in whether the woman is having. Oh my God.
That's fine. That means that pragmatically you would still believe this. It just means you wouldn't hold it as an absolute.
For the most part, yes. For the most part, it's not absolute. That's what I'm saying. What is going on
That's
here?
not what you were saying. You confused me because you said no blanket. That's where I was confused. Now I understand.
Okay.
So pragmatically, at the moment of saying, nope, I've already been clarified. Don't need you to talk over me anymore. Got it?
Okay, you done? You done?
Anyway, nope.
Do you understand now?
Now we're just... Maybe when I say that I understand, that means that I understand. Or maybe that just means...
Okay, then the conversation is over. Then the conversation is over, isn't it?
No, the debate isn't over.
Okay, then bring another point.
I don't know why you're trying to dictate the conversation. I was in the middle of talking. You are the one who dictates
everything. You talk over everyone.
Hello?
You talk so much, and you don't bring any points.
Are you glitching? Okay, so you just wanted to complain.
Am I the one glitching?
Listen, do me a favor.
You love to hear yourself talk, and you don't like to receive it.
Do me a favor. File a complaint with HR. We'll get back to you in 5 to 7 business days. Now, anyways, I'm going to continue to try to, this debate.
Obligated to do you a favor?
Are you obligated to do me a favor? No, you're not obligated to do.
You ask. The answer then is no. I will not do you a favor.
Okay. Well, Colin, Robin.
Y'all kicked her for talking over her or what?
There's no debate to be had there. What are you talking about? When I say, let me continue the debate, and then she says, I'm not going to do that, what do I do? Sit there and let her keep rambling?
I mean, you could.
I don't know.
Let me know, Colin.
I prefer to stay out of it.
Yeah, that's fine. So Robin, your position, you said it was based around 24 weeks because of the cerebral cortex.
Well, I am sort of considering holding a precautionary stance, which would probably be like, 18 weeks, right? But yeah, my stance would be 20 to 24 weeks.
Okay, 18 weeks just as a precautionary.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, and then at that point, you would say that all abortions would be unjustified to be able to occur.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Unless, medical exceptions for the mother.
And then you would view that the responsibility doesn't kick in entailed between the mother and the fetus prior to 18 weeks.
Yeah.
Would be fine with like impairment.
Impairment meaning
Mother being able to like drink or smoke or something like that.
no, I wouldn't. Well, if she's planning on keeping the child and then she drinks before it becomes sentient, that's probably wrong. Is anyone there?
He's muted.
I didn't know if you were further elaborating.
Oh, okay.
So
well, I can explain it very simply. It's not because you're harming the fetus. I don't care about the harm being done to the fetus. I care that the fetus is potentially going to perceive the harm in the future. So that would be setting somebody up to feel pain in the future, which I would say is pretty bad.
Okay. Okay, I can understand. I can understand the position with that. Do you not view? Do you think that harm is only capable of being able to occur to an individual that can perceive it?
I would say that if you're not a being who has the capacity to perceive harm or perceive in general, then no, I wouldn't say it's a harm that I care about.
So you don't think that like death would be harmful?
I would say that it's harmful if it's being done to a being that can experience sentience.
Sure, but like when I'm saying death, I just mean like the prevention of either a being or I would say a prevention of a being from being able to have experiences or continue to have experiences.
So okay, so you're depriving a being of future experiences. That's what you're saying your definition of death is?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's true. If I knock somebody out, right, and they continue, they still fit the characteristics of life, but they're just persistently in a coma. I wouldn't say that I murdered them, but I would still say it's pretty bad. So I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, I'm not saying that the only form of harm that I would find to be like morally impermissible would be this idea of like death. And I'm not holding the view that I would say it's on a prima facie basis, because I think that we can justify instances of death occurring to individuals, the death penalty, self-defense, et cetera, et cetera. But what I am saying is I'm just saying that death is harmful, and it's because of the way that, I'm defining it. I think that the preventing individuals from being able to continue to have experiences or entail future experiences, I think that is harmful.
Yeah, sure. I would say that's harmful too if it's done to somebody who has begun that sentient experience.
Okay, why is that? Why is that?
Because I think that you're only valuing one half of a conjunct. And I think that once you have achieved, or once you have sentience, right, you've established some sort of identity, you're a person, and it would be wrong to deprive that person of future experiences.
Do you think that it's within the nature of humans typically to have the capacity for things such as like sentience, rationale, et cetera, et cetera?
Sure. I don't think I care about the nature. I think about the actualization.
Robin, do you have like contentions with vegan ethics?
Are you asking if I'm a vegan?
Well, I'm just asking, like, do you disagree with vegan ethics? Do you think that like vegans?
I don't necessarily disagree. I obviously I value animal sentience, but just to a smaller extent. Now you can say that I'm a coward for that. I would probably agree, but yeah, I'm not a vegan.
Well, why do you like only care about animal sentience and extent?
Well, I would say that I care about animal sentience, not to the same extent that I do humans. Mostly that would probably be because we are off the same species. Now, that's not the only reason. I would say because they're of the same species, they fit within our society. I don't think the animals fit within our society. They're not going to follow our moral standards. Therefore, we can't hold them to the same moral standards or treat them the same as we do humans. That'd probably be why.
Well, you're just saying that because they're not like a part of like higher reasoning. That's why it's okay to like make them suffer.
No, not prior reasoning.
Slaughter them.
I don't think your level of rationale determines why you get to live. I think that if you've begun to have those sort of experiences, I would say that you are qualified for moral consideration. And if you're a human, that would imply human rights.
Okay.
Do I still sound sick? I don't know. Okay. What? Never mind.
So I'm curious about the verbiage around this idea of human rights. How are you defining rights? Are you just defining them typically as like moral entitlements?
Legal entitlements probably.
Okay. Well, then that does go back to the point that I was bringing up about like the nature of humans having this capacity to deploy these certain traits, sentience, rationale, things like that. And you said, why would I care about this? But you actually made my argumentation for me when you were pressed about vegan ethics, is that clearly there's going to be something that's entailed to being a human that you're going to find that's distinctually different to other categories of beings, such as animals. So with that being the case, right, the nature of humans is to deploy these certain things. So now I'm a little confused as to if we truly do care about sentience, and you're even sympathetic to the ideas that we might not actually understand where sentience arises from, that you would give a precautionary principle, but you wouldn't actually just hold kind of a blanket justification for humans via their nature being able to, deploy these certain things. Sentience, rationale.
I have no idea.
I don't care about the species capacity in itself. I care about the individual's capacity. If you haven't developed the capacity or you don't have the ability to deploy sentience, I would say that you don't qualify for the same fundamental human rights, which would exclude young fetuses.
Where do you think human rights come from?
So wait, so you just hold the view specifically to be able to be pro-choice? That's it?
What?
So you just hold this view specifically to be able to be pro-choice? Because you're just saying...
No, I care about sentience. I think you do too.
No, I mean, clearly I do, but I hold the position that I stated. I hold some kind of an ontological based capacity.
Robin, I don't think you care about sentience.
What do you mean when you say ontological?
Nature of.
The nature of.
The nature of the being, correct.
Okay, sure. No
one's tag teaming her. I don't know where that's coming from.
But saying that I don't care about sentience, right, and that I'm just holding this stance to be pro-choice is absolutely not true. I do care about sentience. If we found out that sentience began 1 week in or right at conception, I would be against abortion.
Robin, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think animal sentience and then human sentience is different?
Yeah, I think they're different.
Like how?
Well, okay, so if I were to define sentience, that would probably just be the ability to feel, which would include thinking, learning, memories, all these different abilities. Now, if you can't think and learn the same way that humans do, you probably have a different type of sentience. So yeah.
Say that, like,
Wait, I'm confused though, because the way you define sentience, I'm sorry about this, Curtis, but the way you define sentience almost seems like it's actually more in line with rationale.
No, not in line with rationale. I do think that thinking and learning abilities are a part of it. I don't think they're crucial. So if you have the ability to perceive, if I were to define sentience on a scientific level, I would say the ability to respond on a cortical level, right? Which would be the ability to perceive. Now, there are other things within sentience that I value, such as thinking and learning abilities, but they're not crucial.
So you think that rationale is entailed within sentience then?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because it seems like you're not drawing a distinction between the two. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's one of the characteristics, I would say, but it wouldn't be absolute.
Sorry, Robin. Mustafa, if you have an 87-year-old that's basically on their deathbed, and the question is to pull the plug, is that in the same way like an abortion?
No.
But you're unaliving a human, apparently.
Yeah, there's cases of like DNRs and things like that where individuals' wishes, they've been able to express this as being their wishes and their desires.
I don't know how that was relevant.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything.
So you're saying
show me a fetus that gave you a DNR, and then show me a fetus that gave you a DNR, expressed their wishes or desires to be aborted, and then you've got a fair analogy there.
Wait, hold on. Do you think that anyone could just decide if they want to live or not?
Do I think that anyone can decide whether they want to?
Well, if somebody's schmooicidal, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, right? And they come to you and they say, I don't want to live anymore, right? Should they be allowed to, like, I don't know, go to the doctor and get a lethal injection?
No, I don't believe.
So
I don't believe in that, but that's not due to the fact of like my position on abortion. That's just going to be due to the fact of like.
Okay, so personally,
another aspect of like virtue that I don't find that to be virtuous to allow in society.
Personally, I've had a friend who was on his deathbed, basically not given a DNR or anything else, and it was up to the parents' choice.
You don't do anecdotals.
All right, thanks for cutting me off, Curtis. So,
you're like giving a personal story. I don't think anyone really cares, and no one is.
It's an explanation, and I'm going to go off with this with a question. So if you keep cutting me off,
well, yeah, like I said, it's anecdotal, which is like not allowed, but whatever.